Speaking out of Akron, Ohio, representing Team Popping the Boys, the headline god, Jeremy Lambert, and his co-host, speaking out of Atlanta, Georgia, representing more than one royal family, the king of indie viewing, Stephen Jensen. And this is the Spotlight on Fightful.
Welcome everyone to the Spotlight here on Fightful. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That's Stephen Jensen, and we say it every week, but he is on the show today. Shout out to Big Dick Emil Jay for the intro, as always. And shout out to Mose, who is on the show, the third co-host of this show. Mose, you see him there. You heard him on GCW Homecoming, Part 1 and Part 2 this weekend. Mose and Emil, we appreciate you guys joining us here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It was a really, really fun weekend in Atlantic City, and I was really happy to have Mose with me as part of the commentary duo, because if he wasn't around, I would have been in trouble.
Well, Mose, what was that like? Because there were chunks of the show where you were solo there on commentary, and that's a big responsibility, having to hold it down for these big events for GCW, like by yourself, while Emil's kind of going back and forth.
Yeah, I never 100% know what all I'm doing, just because of how much Emil does and like everything going on behind the scenes. So I wasn't sure, like Emil told me, hey, it's me and you all weekend, but I wasn't sure if there'd be a last second changes to that. So basically I was just going until someone in the headset said this or that, or until Brett, I just was kind of going, man. So I appreciated the trust. I know the Midwest loop I kind of hopped on with GCW last minute helped, because me and Emil got to do a lot there and have a lot of fun. But it was an honor, man. As a fan of GCW and as somebody now, I don't know how many shows I've done with GCW now, but it's been a little over 3 years. It was almost right at the 3-year anniversary of my first show, Homecoming weekend. So it was just a lot of complete the circle moments for me.
Yeah, it was always good to see you at the Atlanta shows, Mose. So I'm glad you're able to branch out more and more. And I put it out there. I saw a lot of people on social media saying hopefully we get to see Mose as a more regular part of GCW commentary going forward. Emil, you've been a part of GCW. I mean, you're there day in, day out. And obviously you have grown to become close with Nick Gage, who returned this weekend.
Yeah.
It was a really big deal. What was it like for you being there, on the call as that was all happening, to see Nick Gage finally come back after over a year?
Well, it was very, very exciting. I don't know if I've ever been that excited for any one moment on wrestling commentary, especially, that, I think that's got to be it, because the past couple of Atlantic City weekends, seeing Nick Gage backstage, hanging out, visiting, and, even though it is Homecoming, I never know what's going to happen. I really only, there's a lot of times where I'm not clued in on what's going to happen on purpose, because me personally, I don't want to, I want to be as organic as possible when we're live. So the less I know about certain things, the better. And I personally did not know that Nick Gage was going to be making any sort of an appearance, because like I said, he had been hanging out at previous Atlantic City weekends. He was at the Philadelphia show that we did in Harris. But nothing official, just hanging out. But then when the music hit for the second time, I've seen enough wrestling. I was able to put it together. Oh shit, we're really gonna get it this time, and that was genuine excitement. Mose can tell you, I was literally jumping out of my seat. I don't do that. I'm fairly composed on commentary. You know, even when I am excited, like it's very rare that I'm moving around and hopping up and all that. But that time was completely different.
When the music hit the first time and it was Tommy Invincible, I know it was quick. He came out there and then he got beat up and then it hit. But like when he comes out after you hear the music, are you thinking in the back of your head like, all right, we're not gonna like screw the fans over here. Like Nick's gotta show up at this point. We're not just gonna do this Tommy Invincible spot and then no Nick Gage.
I mean, that's what I was hoping. uh, I mean, I was like, when Tommy Invincible first came out, in the back of my mind, I was hoping, man, I hope we get to hear when the bell tolls one more time, because these people are gonna come unglued. Like I think it was a perfect time. It was almost like the last time he was in GCW was the Cleveland event with Matt Hardy last year. So it's just a couple of weeks over a full year that he had been around and in the home base, especially while everybody's so excited at the beginning. It was just like a perfect moment for it all come together.
Yeah, Mose, how did you feel when that all happened? Because I know, I remember years ago, me and you were both in the basement east watching Nick Gage versus Brett Eisen at Suck.
Yeah, man.
And a lot has happened in those years since. What was it like being a part of a GCW event where you're on the call for that big return for Nick Gage?
It was crazy just knowing how everything unfolded. It's something that it's crazy about GCW too is like you were just saying, the idea that after when Tommy came out that we're definitely going to get Gage, but the thing is like GCW and like Brett's so kind of like whatever they want to do. The idea that but with everything else going on, like maybe Gage doesn't come out, maybe this leaves it for something else. You know what I mean? And like we already were getting Jimbo back, we were getting Manser came back, later in the night, AJ. So there was so much on night one that I was like, maybe we come back because like if there's if there's things Emil doesn't know, you can imagine what I didn't know. Like I see the card and I'm like, all right, cool. I didn't go out till calm till like 5 minutes. I think it was 5 minutes before he did like Emil did like the 5 minute warning or whatever. And I was like, oh shit, I guess I gotta go. Like no one's told me not to go. I'm this is happening. And then yeah, that's how we started. It was like it was so crazy, and it was cool for me because I told him, well, my goal when I got the call for the weekend was like, he's the GCW guy. His voice needs to be on all these moments. So I had to look at so much professionally that night of like, I didn't want to step, you know what I mean? Like I'm personally, like I'm trying to throw the oop for Emil to be like, because like it's 10-year anniversary, like he's the guy there. I'm very much just happy to like, I told him I'm a Flavor Flav man. Like I'm so happy to like get some good shit in, but like those moments need to have Emil Jay's voice. So like I'm watching that unfold and knowing like, all right, my guy here is about to like really cut loose. I need to find that moment to like get that one thing in that's just cool for me. And it was like, Emil goes crazy, and he was like going crazy next to me. And we've called a few matches together at this point. Like you said, like I was like, oh, shit, man, this is Homecoming. This is Gage back. And he cuts loose, and there's that second he gave me, or like he kind of like let it breathe. And then I think I said something like King is home. And it's just, that was it. Like you're saying, I thought of him and Brett. I thought of just me as a fan, all the matches I was at on that side of the curtain. And like, yeah, dude, it was a lot that like I felt really much more so after the show when I could kind of like breathe. But that was one of the like handful of moments that night that I was like, all right, like this is next level. This is special.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, it's very rare that I go back and listen to my stuff, because it's just we do so much of it, and then I start doing that, I'll start picking apart all this, and I don't want to do all of that. I just want to do it. It's done. But this call, like I went back and I saw the clip online, and I played it back a bunch of different times just because like that energy, even still from like through the screen, is like still infectious of like that whole environment, the fans reacting and Nick and the music and all that. It's just And then, of course, Mose and myself, adding what we could to that. And yeah, I was like, it's one of the few times where I go back and I'm like, oh, I'm proud of the way this went down because like Mo said, huge moment. That's going to be one of those things that's replayed in the history of GCW over and over and over again. So yeah, it was just really cool to take in and be a part of, and I was happy that I was able to do commentary for it too, because until recently I hadn't been doing like a lot of commentary, especially in Atlantic City. We typically always had Veda and Dave together, but some due to a bunch of different circumstances from everybody's situation, neither one of them were there this weekend. So and like for the past few months I've had to be that lead voice on commentary as well. And it was especially for my history with Nick and everything like that, getting able to like say his intro, like when he was coming through the curtain, that was a cool thing that I just decided to do, because like I said, I didn't know he was coming out, but here he comes, and I'm like, all right, this is the opportunity to get it in for the first time in a long time. And I just think it all worked together so well.
Mose, I was worried for you. The third match, Dr. Redacted and Ultramantis Black, they're fighting over by I was like, Mose is just like out here trying to make his debut and everything, and first big show, and they're gonna kill him already. They're gonna already off him in the GCW lore. How are you feeling as they were fighting around you?
Listen, you never have to worry about me. If I've got my backpack with me and I haven't flown, I do have my gun on me. So Redacted is very tough, but 1911-45 is going to win that one.
Very Gypsy Joe of you.
Well, hey, I'm proud to live up to the name. I should say the aura of Tennessee hardcore. Yeah, no, he is. Like, I've been around Redacted enough now. Like, you cannot plan. Like, Redacted reminds me of that same brain of like Carrie Awful, or like they don't know what they're gonna do, even maybe when they're doing it. So yeah, you just gotta ride the wave. I love that was one of the cool moments where I did kind of like I snuck like a picture. Like, I'm trying not to have it on camera, but I sneak a picture of Emil in between these two psychos, and Emil's doing the like Home Alone face. So yeah, it was just that energy where, like you said, like match one was just like a 15 out of 10, and then 3 we're having this like super personal match. These two talents have wanted, and they're obviously going to go crazy, and like yeah, the energy could not can't even put into words what was going on through his showboat that night.
Can either of y'all just speak a little bit, because you mentioned Dr. Redacted? I think it's been fascinating watching him like transform from Dr. Cube to Dr. Redacted, like the Kaiju Big Battle gimmick, whatever you would want to call it. Like, when y'all just speak, because I feel like he was in this like strange position of having to like reinvent himself, and then like completely has like knocked it out of the park as Redacted.
Yeah, I've known Redacted for 10 plus years at this point. I remember like 10 years ago he ran like 3 or 4 shows out of the NYWC Sportatorium, and I was his ring announcer. So like so I obviously knew him before that. So it's been 10 plus years. I never thought that his career would turn out like this. Like I never, like I knew he was doing the Dr. Cube thing, and I don't even think he was wrestling on those events that I was working for him at. I think he just put it together. But all that said, like I never would have thought that he would be one of the absolute nuttiest deathmatch guys of all time. Like it just didn't cross my mind until like I saw it in front of my face, and I'm like, yeah, this is the same guy. And holy shit, it's almost sort of like Bear Bronson in a similar respect, that I've known him similarly for almost the same amount of time. And I had the opportunity. Like, it was kind of reverse. Like, I was booking him for Dojo Wars like 10 years ago. Never in my life did I think Bear Bronson would be this like killer deathmatch guy. Always thought high of him like as a big heavy hitter who can go type guy, but I never knew that it was his goal to do deathmatch, or I didn't know Redacted's goal was that. And they are both two prime examples of guys who are just like knocking it out of the park right now.
I was gonna mention Bear Bronson, and because that death match, I'm on record not the biggest death match fan. At least I can take it in doses. If you hit me with a bunch back to back to back, I'm like, all right, I need a break. I need a break.
Yeah, you're a bit of a normal person.
yes. But the death match between Bronson and Draymond, I was like, this is not only a great death match, like this is just an overall great match. And to see Bear Bronson, like if you watched him in AEW and he's doing the tag team stuff, like to see him now doing these death matches, so I wanted to get a little bit more color just on how he's come to GCW and really just kind of seems like he's open to anything and really just being welcomed into the environment.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody we'd say is like gung ho. he's all for it, man. And he's gonna go at it 150%. Like he's straight out the gate, from the match with Slade and AC, the scramble. He had the match in Connecticut. I forget who that was with off the top of my head right now, because it's all blending together. But he's had a small handful, and every time he goes out there, it's nuts. And to go back to your original question with Redacted, like I've told him numerous times that he's, and I mean this affectionately, that he is the stupidest wrestler in the world. And I love it. I actually love it. Like that guy just does, like he'll put himself in a damn trash can and jump off the top rope onto the floor with it. Like that's not wise behavior. Like that guy is off his rocker, but I love it.
Someone else I wanted to ask you about, Emil, and it's someone I know that both of y'all have known for a long time, but I think, Emil, you may have even called or been around his first match, is Jordan Oliver. Seeing like where he's at now, like now that he's like back from injury, like going full speed, him and Alec Price, I think, are an incredible tag team. Like that came out of just, the unfortunate circumstance of Cole going out with injury, but then like to bounce back with this tag team, I think that they're absolutely killing it. What's it like seeing, Jordan from kind of day one to like where he's at now, and like where do you think his potential like still is at? Because a lot of people are still just now like discovering him through like Ring of Honor and stuff.
Yeah, well, that last part first, his ceiling is super high. He's not even approaching that yet. Like he's, I'm very, 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 very proud of Jordan. I was there for his first match, SWF. I think that was 2016. I want to say January 2016. And he was in a tag team match opposite Coco Beware. Oddly enough, and from that was his first real match, and he's been hungry for it ever since. I remember when I was running Dojo Wars, he told me that he just wanted to wrestle the best people he could for as long as he can. So that's what the main event turned into every week. It was Jordan Oliver versus a different wrestler who was better than him, who had been around, more experience, and week after week of doing that. And then not only on those, but wherever else he was going, he really was able to pick up a lot of knowledge. And I see him now, when we go to a place like Super Crazy Pro Wrestling out of Gloucester City, he's now one of the vets of that locker room. And there's a lot of young talent there. So I'm seeing like the flip side you know, where I see him turning from a rookie to somebody who's learning their craft. And he's still learning his craft. He never stopped learning your craft. But now he's able to take what he's learned all throughout the independents across the country and across the world, that what he has learned, he's able to share it with the next generation. And because he is still only 25, I think.
5, yeah.
25.
That's wild. Yeah.
With this much experience, these kids that he's given this, you know, that he's giving tips and all these things to, they see him as one of their own in the same generation. He's not a guy who's been working 35 years, who's pushing 60, trying to tell wrestlers on the come up today how it used to be then. I mean, that's good to know, but it's not really going to help you right now. Jordan has the knowledge of what it takes right now to do the thing, to break out, because he's doing it. He's been doing it, and he's currently doing it. So just able to see him personally make that transition in his, you know, career, that's something to be very proud of. And not even talking about his in-ring, his work ethic, this, that, and the other, but just this journey that he's on. He's doing it the right way.
Emil, you've probably confirmed this before, but I haven't seen it, so I got to ask. The "I'm in this city" disaster shout?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. I thought so.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Ash from GPW Productions made a super cut one time of, like, this was a couple years ago. We got to make a new one. We've been to all the new places since. I'm in this. It was like 2 minutes long. It got posted to Instagram. People started tagging Disaster in it, and he actually commented. And then I shot him a message like, "Hey man, like, hope it's cool. Like, just doing an homage type thing. Like, if you know, you know." And he's like, "Yeah, man, keep doing your thing. It's cool." And he gave me like 100% blessing, because like I didn't ask him. I just straight up did it, you know, whatever. Like, but I do throw in a lot of battle rap references and homages, and that's the voice of Gordon solely on my TV.
Yeah, it is.
Let me cut that off, okay? But yeah, as a matter of fact, the first night that I ever did the "I'm in wherever," it was the first time I really went like as a part of the traveling team. You know, where I was asked to be at this. I was asked to be in Detroit and Chicago. Like, wow, that's crazy. But anyway, I was in Detroit, and I had invited Marv One and Quest McCody to the show as my personal guests. They came, and afterwards, they were like, when you did, I was like, yeah. And Marv was like, yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, when I heard it, I was like, that's got to be a disaster. Because I knew you were a battle rap fan. I know you've done some battle raps. So I was like, it's got to be that. But I didn't. Yeah, I'm sure you'd confirmed it elsewhere, but I hadn't seen it. So I'm a battle rap fan as well. I used to do a battle rap podcast back in the day.
Oh, sick.
We
speaking
had.
Of which, if I can get a slight plug in, this Saturday, I battle. Point Forward. It's going to be the finals of the Captain's Cup. I will be in attendance. I am not battling, but I will be there to support the league. It's the first time that I'm going to actually be able to be there since I battled 2 years ago. So it'll be cool to see the guys again. I might do some judging, might do some hosting, but otherwise just there to support the homie Lex and the rest of the crew at iBattle. And that will be streaming live on their streaming application. And if you're in the Staten Island area, tickets on sale on Eventbrite.
There you go. Yeah, we would do it back in the day. We had like Thesaurus on, Arcane on. We got in pretty well with King of the Dot people, so they would hook us up with a lot of stuff. It was a lot of fun, and then I had to get like a real job and kind of out of touch with the battle rap, but I was always a big fan of battle rap. Mose, to throw it to you, what kind of differences between night 1 and then night 2, like your approach with everything?
Just same shit. Or night 1 was a breeze. I couldn't believe it was 4 hours.
In a good way. In the
fast.
Yeah, totally. Like I've called, 2-hour shows that at times just felt, but it's different. It's easier with Emil. It's like the same thing. Someone else asked me, they messaged me and asked how it went and all this and that. And it's like, it was like you guys already noticed though, the trust that I guess kind of everybody kind of had to have with me just because of everything going on Emil does. But the fact that like I kind of had to do this or that, and then when me and him were in there together, instead of one person driving the car and the other one, or you kind of dancing around, it was like we were just kind of going together. We were on this voyage together. Like he would listen to me and then bring it back, and obviously I'm trying to play off whatever he's throwing. So all I could think was like night 2, like it's afternoon show. Crowd is going to be like there because of that main event. Obviously it's I knew we were going to have some fun, maybe not as big a surprises as 1, but again, you never know with what GCW does. So it was just the business as usual, feed off the crowd, feed off Emil, feed off just kind of like whatever we're getting in front of us. I talked to a couple of the fellas in the back, just kind of like what they wanted out of storyline stuff. Like I talked to Matt for probably like 10-15 minutes, just because like I've got to know Matt really well with his time down in Chattanooga. So just like I did a couple things on night 2 that I didn't really like. Night 1 was such a blur. It was such a like this crazy vibe. Like I didn't know what I was what I was expecting, because I've been to like a bunch of shows as a fan, and obviously I've worked a few now, but nothing like this. Like the locker room was just going crazy a couple hours before. Everybody was fired up. So just get in there, don't get in the way, do your job well, have fun, bring the energy. And like Emil said, I think I'm really proud of like, I never go back and listen to stuff, but I've gone back and listened to a couple matches and this and that. Like it was a lot of fun, and I think you feel that listening to it, and that was the goal, and we did it.
And to touch on something most said, especially about the energy of the locker room. Typically, like, I don't really get like amped up for shows until about like somewhere between like 3 and 5 minutes before bell time. When I really start getting like, all right, let's go, let's do this thing. But Saturday night, I was feeling that feeling started creeping up at like 7:20, like a good, like almost 45 minutes ahead of time. And I was nervous because it's intense energy that I have, like that, like, and my style of ring announcing really helps me get all that out. But to feel that feeling that far in advance of an event, that to me is a great signifier of what is to come, of what the energy level of everybody else is. You know what I mean? Like, because I doing this, almost every weekend for the past, 4 or 5 years, traveling around like I have been, you can get a pretty good gauge of what that environment, what that feeling is. And it was early. It was very similar. Gillies, the last Gillies had something similar. There was a big atmosphere to that. A lot of folks in there, a lot of people just excitement in the air. I like when it's like that. And Atlantic City this past time was certainly like that.
Mose, one of my biggest mark out moments of the homecoming weekend was when Waka Flocka hit. Like I know that AJ Gray has been gone from GCW for a long time. He'd been appearing for shows like KOBK, for instance. If you want to check out the Kill Be Killed events, you can check out AJ Gray. Plugged the KOBK shows over on IWTV. Use code Fight Talk. But it was always it was really cool that you were there on commentary. Like I remember watching, once again, talking about Basement East sub rap shows, AJ Gray, you being there, me being like, it just, once again, it just feels like forever ago, but it also feels like yesterday. It's so weird. But so much has happened since then, and for you to be on the call for AJ's return, what was that like? Hearing that music, seeing him come out finally, return to GCW.
Man, it was cool, and it was also cool because the night before I had a show in Tyrone, so we drove through the night, and like AJ messaged me probably about, I don't know, 8 or 9 in the morning. So we've been on the road like about 12 hours, like 11 hours. We had a couple hours to go still. And I had no idea, like, anytime I talk to AJ, we just don't normally talk wrestling, actually. We're usually talking a bunch of bullshit. But he had messaged me about it. And the way he was talking, I just was like, yo, am I going to see you later? And he was like, yeah. I was like, yo, all right. So that kind of gave me my second boost of like, all right, I'm tired of shit, but like what you said, like that's going to be a cool moment because I know a chunk of the fans have been asking for him back, and just again the weekend as a whole, it felt right for kind of a surprise. And it was when it hit, like that was another one of those handful of moments. Like I have, for some reason, I don't remember doing it. I was going through the next morning, and I have like a 6-second clip of me just like filming like the opening of Waka. You just see the fans going crazy. So yeah, it was really cool. Like again, personally, it was really cool. It was one of those moments I was happy to kind of get my shit in because Emil was in the ring about to ring announce him. So I was able to kind of get some like, AJ back in GC. Like I never like cut up little clips, and I cut that up, and AJ was like, he thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, like that was another one of those, like, just felt like I was definitely in the right place kind of moments.
Emil, any thoughts on AJ Gray's return?
Oh, it's great. I love to see it. I knew that as soon as that initial, like, once that song came on, people were gonna go crazy. I think AJ may have been a little bit, I don't know, like apprehensive is the right word, but like a bit of, or like concerned. Like those are like too serious of words. Even nervous is like too serious. But he asked me like what I thought, and I was like, bro, when that music hits, it's on. Like these people are gonna love it. Like, say whatever you want about turnover of fans or how long he may have been away. There was still enough people that have been there and are always going to be here that know what his deal is, and I'd say that was the vast majority of that crowd. As always, there's always going to be some first timers or some people new to the GCW product who may not know, but they'll feed off of everybody else. If everybody else is excited for this guy, well, hell yeah, let's go, let's get it. It's infectious, and I was happy that I was right. And he came in, he got a hell of an ovation. He damn near put Austin Luke through the mat a few times, and I didn't even have time to get back to commentary. It was over so quick. So.
Emil, I do have to ask before we potentially let you go here, since we were on the subject earlier about battle rap, top 5 battle rappers.
Oh, so hard. Shit. Damn. Ilmac. Okay. I come from that era where like Ilmac, Passwords, Thesaurus, is very, very West Coast-y.
Yeah.
But then again, like Tay-Rock is insane. Pat Stay, R.I.P. Bender, R.I.P. Sharon might be like the perfect battle rap brain I've ever seen in my life. That guy is incredible right now. New Jersey Twerk. Historically speaking, Charlie Clips, DNA, a fucking Big T, Big K. I love. There's more of them that I really enjoy than I don't care for. Like, there's very few that I'm just like, at a certain level, where I just don't have any time for you. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of guys out there that are just so good, and I wish I was as talented as any of them. You know, homeboy I battled, Roheezy, he's great. Lex Luthor, who runs the shit, he's great. I battle's got all the next up talent, like between like Los Prim and Appa, Fibu, Death when he doesn't choke. I'm sorry. Real sick, homeschool, fucking like there's just killers on top of killers out there. And I didn't even mention Rum Nitty. Like I'm bugging. Like come on, like Danny Myers is crazy.
I'm a little offended. Hollow.
Oh, the Dinanan?
Yeah.
No, the other Dadan. No, oh yeah, that's when K-Shine said that to John. K-Shine being back is awesome. Also, Hollow the Don rules. He's loopy. He's a different kind of sandwich.
I stumbled upon their Solcon and QP did a rematch. I'm sure you saw the original.
The original with the white suit.
Yes, the original is a classic. They did a rematch. It's actually really good. Like because Solcon had been kind of hit and miss since returning. But him and QB did a rematch. I was like, "Oh shit, this is good." It's every bit. It's not quite as good as the original, but for what I was expecting it to be, it completely exceeded my expectations.
Solcon's gonna be on iBattle Saturday.
Nice.
Battling. He's battling. I forget who his opponent is off the top of my head right now, but he will be there. He also recently tweeted that if everything goes right, this might be the best ever material he's had for a battle. And that's pretty crazy because he's got some, I mean, the battle he had with Fresco, legendary. The battle he had with Jay Fox, where he ended his career, legendary. And then the QP battles, of course. Like, and I mean, this guy is like a legend. So like he's saying that, well, he's got to be awfully confident in his material. Hopefully it goes the way it's planned.
Jens, I'll leave you to a wrestling question now.
Oh no, I want to find out about the guy you just mentioned who served some guy so hard he retired.
That's hard.
Yeah. Fox. Yeah.
Yeah, Jay Fox. He was out of the West Coast, and he was.
What did he say to him? Like, what did he say to him that got him to just be like, "I'm done"?
Oh, he had like paperwork and everything on. The QP battle was the paperwork.
The Fox, he just embarrassed. Like he just outclassed him, just made him look like shit. I mean, Fox probably did battle a time or two after that, but he never got back to any sort of level that he was at. It was just like, and I think there was like some bad blood. I think the intention of Solcon was to get him out of here. That's why he dressed the way he did. That's why he wore a full white tuxedo with a matching white top hat. and he bodied this guy badly. I never really heard from Jay Fox ever again.
I believe he was in QP's corner for the rematch. So he was there and everything
that's their crew, SONS.
Yeah.
That's out of the West Coast, the jungle, all that. Like, so like they're still gonna be cool. But I mean, I've never heard of the Jay Fox battling. I mean, it's not like when Big K pulled out the paperwork against Adi Boom, and Adi Boom has just been, he might be in witness protection or whatever. But like, man, like he doesn't show his face. Jay Fox will at least show his face. Adi Boom, not so much.
It was just cool to see Solcon and QP like have a good battle and be kind of copacetic with each other after everything.
All that,
past.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was cool to see. So if anybody, we're bringing up battles from like 20 years ago.
It's very wrestling coded.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
It's super, like battle rap and pro wrestling are almost the same thing, except like instead of like doing moves, you're just rapping, like it's the same, like it's the same thing. You guys, like two or more people are going out there to do a performance that's designed to be done one time, and like no tricks, no cutting, like no, just there, one and done. Like You prepared for this match, and then the next match you got to prepare a completely different thing for. You know, and same thing with battle rap. That material you're only going to rap it one time, because like those personals and name flips aren't going to work against the next guy. You got to come up with new shit. So like it's very much the same. I've probably why I like it so much.
I respect that. I mean, I could definitely see, especially like botching in pro wrestling. Like you might get hurt physically, but like if you botch in like a big battle rap, like that could be the end of your whole career if you like just totally fumble like with whatever you're saying. And it's live, one time, live audience. You're getting immediate feedback from the crowd, whether they like you, whether they hate you. You got to play off of that. Like yep. I could definitely see that. I also wanted to ask you, I if you need to leave, by the way, Emil, I know we're like holding you longer than we talked about. Like, how are you on time? Do you have to
go? No, it's okay. Right now, what am I looking at right here? It's what is this? Bob Roop and Brett Wayne. You know, Brett Wayne's got some color. How about that? Well, anyhow, I'll be watching those two matches because, like, you know, like the main stuff is still yet to come. They got the Briscoe brothers, Jerry and Jack, against the Road Warriors on this one.
Ooh.
So that's something that I really want to see. There's something with Bill Irwin and Tommy Rich. They got some kind of gimmick match, but these. Okay. That's an advertisement. That's what that is on my screen right now. Okay. I want to skip that. I don't want to see that anymore.
Okay. I wanted to ask you for your for your fits every show. Like, do you choose what you're gonna wear ahead of time, or is that like on feel like the day of? Because that's one thing my brother always mentions. He watches a lot of indie shows with me. It's funny because I told him I was interviewing Emil Jay today, and somehow he heard me. He thought I said MJF, and I was like,
"Oh my god!"
And he was like, "You're interviewing MJF?" I said, "No, I'm interviewing Emil Jay." And my brother goes, "Oh, that's way cooler. Ask him about it." Yeah.
Stop.
And my brother said, and we always talk every time we see you. We're always like, "What's he gonna be wearing in the ring?" Because it's always something that stands out. So, do you pick that ahead of time, or is that like a game time decision type thing?
It depends. It depends on where we're going and what the date is. Perhaps I might sometimes I have shirts that maybe it's a pay-per-view shirt. I'll wear it on like the anniversary of the day of the pay-per-view, or I'll wear it like in the city that had the pay-per-view. So that's like kind of like a dual usage there. Sometimes like. If somebody's in the news, like whenever like the thing about Scorpio defending himself at the gas station, like that same at the Loves or whatever, like that same weekend I threw on a Too Cold Scorpio shirt. Sometimes it's just like, this shirt is cool. I haven't worn it in a while, and sometimes it has something to do with the city or the time of year that we're doing it. And then sometimes it's just completely random. I would say it's sort of like a 70-30 in terms of like meaning versus like completely random. Like I wore a Sid shirt in Little Rock, I think it was, because he was from like West Memphis, Arkansas. And that's another thing I try to do. If like a wrestler is like from a specific area, I'll try to wear that. When I do like a Joshi, like when I do Tokyo Joshi Pro, that's always some sort of Joshi related t-shirt. When I do like World on Lucha, it's always a Lucha inspired shirt. TOS has its own shirt. Like I wear the same shirt every TOS. The all over print King of the Deathmatch Terry Funk Cactus Jack one that Stash Pages made. Trying to like that's pretty much the long and short of it.
I have so many random questions for you from all these years, and like you're like triggering so many of these questions, like some of these names, some of the things you're bringing up. Like I just have to ask you before I completely forget you. I apologize, Mose. That I'll ask you something here in just a second. But
I don't care.
No, I know you're just chilling either way, but no, I don't want to leave you out for too long, but like I'm just thinking of this stuff. Okay, you just reminded me for some reason GCW Backyard Wrestling this year.
Yes,
I saw JJ Allen, maybe the most on fire human being I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, correct.
What was the feeling of that? I feel like, thank God there was a pool full of water there. I couldn't believe what I saw that day. And then, like, not long after, a few weeks later, John Wayne Murdoch gets set ablaze.
Yeah.
What's your opinion of, like, we probably need to be a little more prepared when we're using the file. Like, listen, like, Too Tough Tony, the meteorite, legendary, right? Always nails it. I'm not really concerned about that. But for some reason, recently, everything else, it seems like maybe a little more preparation. I don't know, but what's it like being in the building when you see stuff like that happen?
Thankfully, I wasn't in the building for the John Wayne Murdoch incident.
Okay.
I had already left because that was a hell of a weekend. Many show, brother. But for the JJ Allen thing, I don't know about anybody else, but my initial thoughts were, oh fucking oh shit. Repeating. And he's especially lucky that pool was there right where it was, because if it was anywhere else around the ring, like if it was on the on the hard cam side, he would have been screwed.
Yeah, true.
Like the fact that the pool was right there quite literally saved him, because when he jumped in the pool, the water was on fire.
Yeah.
The water was on fire. I've only seen that in Disney World. That shit is not real.
Or in the Bible.
Yeah, that doesn't say that in there. I don't know. I never read it.
Do you know Emil, by the way? Like, was he?
This is my Bible right here, the 1996 Pro Wrestling Almanac. Okay.
Do you know, Emil, if like what happened, for those of you who may not have seen what we're talking about, during the Backyard Wrestling event, JJ Allen is making his entrance, and they have like aluminum cans with like these small pyrotechnics going off for the entrances, and his like cape lights fire, and then his entire body, including his like shiesty or whatever like hood he was wearing, also catches fire. Like, was he like covered in like fluid for something later? He was? Okay, because that thing set ablaze so fast. I figured that was the only way that was possible. Okay.
He was too wet.
Okay.
Too wet with the fluid or whatever it was, and then it spread like fire does. I say, like, okay, yes, Too Tough Tony, the meteorite is cool. That's controlled. But other than that, you can't control fire, really. Like, I mean, you can, I guess. Like, Smokey the Bear would be really pissed if he heard me say that. But fire is really unpredictable. And when you're dealing with it, like the situation with J.J. Allen and John Wayne Murdoch, where, you know, their clothing and bodies are on fire, and I mean, it only takes but for like a piece of clothing to come off and go flying into the crowd. Like that happened at the arena in 1995. Terry Funk and the Cactus Jack and the flaming branding iron, and it caused all that thing, and like footage of that show is like seemingly been destroyed, lost to time because of what happened there. Like it's a huge liability, a huge risk, and I am far from like the safety police, but like, you know, because these, do what you want, but like don't like, that's, fire can spread very quickly. It's not, I think the risk reward ratio is not as high as people necessarily think that it is.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like the solution in some of these situations is like you just have to like beat the shit out of whoever's on fire to try to put it out. So you're like punching and kicking someone who's literally on fire because there's no nowhere
Right.
else, no other way to put it. It's just a bad situation.
And also if you're gonna do it, like run it by somebody, maybe
Yeah.
like let people know that this is gonna happen so they could either A, say no, we're not doing that, or B, saying, okay, let's get this water team assembled, this fire extinguisher, let's be ready. But a great way to avoid any of that is just not do it. There's enough shit that we can use. I don't think it's necessary. I don't like. You'll never hear me say like anything really like that ever again because I don't
History.
care.
Yeah.
What do what you want to each other. I don't care. But the moment that it becomes dangerous and a liability for everybody else involved, that's where an issue comes in. And 9 times out of 10, that liability and issue comes from an open fire.
Yeah.
Can we just blame these clowns that keep showing up to
Yeah.
GCW? Like the literal
Juggalos.
clowns? Yeah.
Juggalos, weird people. I went to a whole gathering of them a few weeks ago, and I still haven't recovered from what I've seen. These people are wild.
See a lot of buttholes.
No, thankfully. I stayed away from Butthole Alley or whatever is going on there. But yeah, just like some of these people, especially night one, just so vile, just yelling the most reprehensible things at a human. And it's like, really? This one guy, when I first came walking out, this one guy, he's yelling all sorts of course, he's a grown adult and he's got his face painted. He's got some ridiculous mohawk and he's yelling all sorts of epithets and slurs at me and threats from the second row to the point where I just look at him dead in his eye and I asked him from the ring, I said, how old are you? What are we doing? Like, it's just baffling that people act like this. They save up money all year, and they don't have a lot of it to begin with. They save up all year so they can go hang out in some field in goddamn Ohio.
I live in Ohio. None of it's good.
Oh my God. It's unbelievable. We walked into the gas station around the corner in town or whatever, and they have this whole thing set up and it's all Faygo, and I'm like, what the fuck? Really? I mean, I like soda as much as the Nets guy, but come on. That's like, and these people they don't even drink the Faygo. They just spray it on each other. What is that? Well, you're just spraying sticky stuff, and then of course the stage manager's like, oh well, we got the diet soda, it's not sticky. I'm like, well, I don't know about all that, dude. If the soda, like, first of all, like, soda's already not healthy with the high fructose corn syrup and everything, and then if it's not sticky, like, what shit is in that? So maybe it's a good thing they're not drinking it, or they would all keel over. Well, something's off with those folks. I don't trust them as far as I could throw them. And let me tell you, there were some pretty hefty motherfuckers in that crowd.
This is gonna wind up getting clipped and used in a video.
Emil Jay shoots on the Juggalos is gonna be amazing.
Please, please. Listen, I'll tell you this. Not for nothing. I remember I liked Insane Clown Posse. Sure. I was a Juggalo. And then I turned 13 years old. That's just how it goes. But some people, I guess, are perpetually 12. And around here, it's always fuck 12. See, there's levels to this, man. Anyway.
I do love your clapback of how old are you. An amazing
goal.
It's helpful to come back from.
He's
no matter what age you say, like you're gonna lose, no matter what age you say.
Yeah, you're done. And he was not yelling with nearly the same veracity at me after that. So I'm like, all right, that was one down for me. But you know, there were a couple cool people there, you know, but the vast majority of you guys, please figure it out.
Were you
Make
there
a
also,
change.
Mose? Were you there, Mose?
Oh, no.
I
I
just
didn't
saw
make
you
the
do
trip.
this. I was like, oh, I
He
did
said
that.
two. No, he said two. There. He said he met a couple of
oh.
good people. I said two. He met two
Yeah.
good people.
Oh, I was like, oh, geez, you were in the crowd that whole time. While Emil
No, actually, one of my buddies is a juggalo. So he was trying to get me to go, and the plan was I was like, maybe I'll pull up for a day or two, and then Emil hit me up about homecoming like the weekend before, and I was like, I'll just save that money for Atlanta.
Yeah. There's only so many places that you can be pulled on a whim.
Yeah.
The
Ohio should not be one of them.
the catering was delicious though. They had
I bet it was
smoked wings
good.
back there.
Oh.
Boy, man,
Yeah.
I had about a half a dozen of those each night, at least, and then some other stuff, and so that was good. Catering,
Nice.
good. Everything else,
I've heard that they have something there. It's like, I don't know what they call it, like a slop bowl or something like that. It's like all the different like carny foods all put into like one bowl and they serve it. And like, yeah, it sounds like the cuisine there is very all over the place. So,
I mean, I didn't really venture out that way. I believe it, and I'm intrigued. I mean, depending on what the ingredients are, it could be really, really good or a disaster.
Well, you guys aren't quite done with the Juggalos, at least not yet, because you guys do have War Games coming up. That was officially announced.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll be
it's
it.
a song that doesn't end with these guys. I would like to be done with the chicken hunting part of my career and get on to bigger and better business. I don't have to deal with the likes of these brothers of instruction and Caleb Conley, Big Al, Too Tough Tony, Violent J. I'm sick of you guys. I've had enough. You guys need to get sent packing. Go back inside your little riddle box or whatever it is. Go into the dark carnival. Pick a lotus flower or whatever it is that you guys do. You got to do all of it. Stop messing with us.
This is my last question for you, Emil, because I know we've already held you way longer than we planned to.
That's okay.
Speaking of JCW, one of the things that's frustrating for me covering indie wrestling and covering all this JCW stuff is because there's another JCW, Jersey Championship Wrestling. And
the real.
Right. And I think that their shows, at least since like coming back to doing like regular basis, I would put most JCW shows right there on par with GCW shows. I think that they're killing it top to bottom. I love the events. Like, what are your thoughts right now on kind of like the state of Jersey Championship Wrestling?
It's very, very, very good. I'm in close contact with the man behind JCW, like the brains behind the operation, as it were, on a constant basis. He's kind of always like running stuff by me. There's a lot of cool stuff coming down the pike. There's September. There's 3 more dates, I believe, for the year. September. I'm not gonna be able to. Ooh, maybe I can. Can I get them off the top of my head? I'm gonna try it. Let's see. It's gonna be September 20th, October 26th, and December 14th. I believe are the 3. And yeah, a lot of good stuff coming for each of those events. The last one that we had at the Mecca, perhaps the best match in Mecca history with Thomas Shire and one called Manders. I've been to a lot of shows at the Mecca, so there's been a lot of really good matches there. Of course, that's where, Homicide and Kenta took place there for my friends at VXS. That's a hell of a match. But I think that to me was the previous standard bearer of that building, but I think it's been eclipsed by Manders and Thomas Shire. No slight to the previously mentioned match, because how could you? But that'll just tell you how crazy Manders and Shire was. And that was the best match on a packed event. So what we got cooking for JCW is really cool. A different feeling from GCW, with a little bit of crossover, just enough crossover to make them, like this, but not too much crossover where it's like this, and you want to have that, level of separation, different feel behind the promotion. We've been joking for a while that JCW is for the real sickos. It is timely with the new AEW shirt, and all that started being sold at the 2300 Arena yesterday. But really, we have been trying to do more of the sicko stuff in JCW. And I think it's been proving to be successful.
Okay, this is for sure my last question, because it has to do with JCW. Can you make, maybe you don't want to do this because you're involved in the company, but do you have, if you could make a prediction or maybe throw out a name of like who you think actually has a chance of dethroning Masha Slamovich for the championship? It feels like she's unbeatable. She's had the title for multiple J Cups at this point. Like,
yes,
who is on your radar? I mean, obviously there's people like Charles Mason, and there's people who but he's also involved in like the GCW world title picture, him and Atticus, and it's like that's where the worlds collide. But yeah, who do you think actually's got a shot at taking out Masha?
The reason I made a motion at Charles Mason is because I think that Charles Mason is one of those kind of guys who's not happy until he has conquered everything. He wants everything. He wants all the power. And I think that if he wins the JCW title, he's not just going to stop there. He's going to go for the GCW title as well, and vice versa. I think right now, I think also mentally, he's willing to do anything. He'll hide in a damn scissor lift for hours just for an opportunity to get his get back at Atticus. He waited a month for payback after being tased in Coney Island. So Charles Mason is somebody who will pick his spot. As creepy as he is, he's equally as intelligent. Vicious guy. But then again, we've seen Masha take on a veritable who's who, not just in Jersey Championship Wrestling, but all over the place. She has defended that championship. So I don't know, really. I mean, I think Mason is the right type of mind frame to beat somebody as much of a machine as Masha has been. Because I don't think that there's any wrestler right now who could beat Masha in a straight up wrestling match. You got to do something more. You got to be willing to break all the rules.
So Masha likes all of that, though.
I know, and that's what makes her even more difficult.
We had Masha and Charles on before J-Cup, and Charles did this thing. He's like, what are you going to do when I get my hands around you and choke the life out of you and everything? And we played it for Masha, and Masha's like, well, don't threaten me with a good time. And we're like, well, all right, what are you supposed to do with that?
Yeah, for real. I mean, and that situation's been brewing for a while. Otherwise, I mean, if Manders gets an opportunity, That's somebody I'd like to point to as well, because I talked about Masha being a machine. Manders is definitely stepping it up time after time after time, and this experience that he's gaining, going Japan, Germany, all those stops that he has in Europe, of course here, domestically. That's somebody whose stock is rising every single time he steps foot in the ring. I think, I mean, he is the WXW World Unified Champion, or Unified World Champion, however the words work. But I think it's only a matter of time before he has even more gold, either around his waist or on his shoulder. Those might be my two picks, Manders and Mason against Masha. Basically, if your name starts with an M, I'm into you right now.
Emil and Mose, we appreciate you guys joining us for as long as you did.
Maybe Mose will defeat Masha.
How do you like your chances against Masha, Mose?
I just talk, man.
Don't want that smoke.
Yeah, I just talk a good fight. That's it, man. I mean, hey, you saw the way KJ Orso shoved me on my ass.
Yeah.
And that was just one shove. I mean, I definitely am not going to be the one to dethrone anybody.
Emil, let everybody know where they can find you at.
You can find me in Traffic Court on Wednesday, September 10th, which is a shoot, by the way. Hate it. But no, on social media, on all of them, I think, is at the Emil Jay, TheEmiljay. You can find me mostly active on X, the Everything app, where I like to share pictures of wrestling magazines, videos of me drinking soda, and various ridiculous thoughts on pro wrestling, which may or may not be created by the assistance of marijuana smog being inhaled to my lungs. All that said,
completely describe smoking weed, like step by step, like the exact opposite of covering that up.
Yes. No pussyfooting about here. No. My feet are not pussies. I'm just saying things at this point. No, but yeah, find me on X. Not the drug, but the internet social media platform. And I will sometimes, if you interact with me, I'll interact with you too sometimes, maybe. I don't know. No promises, but sometimes I will.
Do you have merch for sale also still, or do you do that mainly in person?
Just in person at shows. I have my little trading cards. I sell duplicate magazines that I have picked up over collecting them over the time. I have DVD mixtapes or little mix samplers. They're all random. No two are ever alike, from my vast collection of wrestling DVDs. And I have those with me at all GCW events and some of the other independents I work at, but mostly GCW. And I guess I'll do a plug for the next GCW dates. I'll just do the first weekend of however many dates we have, because it's a lot. But Friday, September 12th, we return to Harpo's. Saturday, September 13th, we return to the White River State Park in Indianapolis, which looks to be beautiful. That's where the collective was during the pandemic era. I was not able to attend, so I'm looking, not where the collective was, but there were events there. The collective was inside. This is an outside amphitheater type venue. That's a special start time of 5 p.m. on Saturday, because we got to get back. Well, number one, it's outside, so we have to have it when the sun is shining. And number 2, the very next day, New Providence High School, New Providence, New Jersey, Sunday, September 14th. It's Cannonball Fest with a special start time of 4 p.m. Doors open at 2:30. All proceeds will be going to Jeff Cannonball, who is, for those of you who don't know, he's been afflicted by ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, and all proceeds will be going to him, his wife, Tara Calloway, and their son. So I believe tickets for that are almost sold out. Over 600 tickets for that event have been sold already. You're going to see just signed today, Joey Janela versus the Megasis, Megan Bain. Santana from TNA will be in action. Tony Deppen versus Willow Nightingale will be on that event as well as many other big-time matches and stars from all over the independent scene and current TV stars as well. So if you're in the New Providence, New Jersey area and you want to support a good cause, please try to get a ticket to that if you haven't already.
Mose, let everybody know where they can find you at.
At Mose KOBK.
There you go.
The quickest plug of all time.
So quick.
Oh,
That's why he had to sit back and let me yammer on like a yap bag over here.
I know. I was happy to broker this Emil Jay interview. You're welcome.
a true yapper over here. Not as dapper as Justin Roberts, though, I will say.
I don't know.
Nah, he's dapper, man.
He's dapper. That beard looks good, though.
I have the good chin hair. He's got the good top of the head hair.
I have no comment on hair right now.
Mose, I was gonna message you. I did message you during the show. I was like, "Oh shit, Mose is on commentary. What's going on?" I was just gonna DM you and just be like, "What are you doing? You up to anything right now? Like, what, are you out with your friends? Just like fuck with you the entire show." But I didn't think that was very professional. So I was
gonna say, I don't know if I probably wouldn't have looked. I don't remember looking too much at it. Yeah.
Yeah, you replied to the one. I was like, "Oh, okay."
I don't think we checked our phones for a non format reason at all. Night 1. There were a couple times I hopped on night 2 because night it's I don't want to say always, but seemingly the case is the night 2 is there's less stuff happening. There's less moving parts, I should say. It's still like a great night 2 with that Tremont and Bear Bronson and that trios tag match, and you're not going to have a lesser show in terms of quality. It's that the preparation for the entire weekend is so much more serious the first night. The second night you're kind of just taking it home. But the first night with all the with the Matt Cardona car entrance and the this and the that and there's so much happening, so much. But night 2, there's pockets we're able to break in, and it's not as it's intense. That's not the right word, but I don't know what the right term is I'm looking for, but there's not as much pressure on you, really.
Yeah.
Night 1, it's just we gotta make sure that everything is going the way it is, and then by night 2, even I think a lot of the times the fans kind of recognize that as well. The earlier start time, this, that, and the other, especially on it's always a little easier on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So, but the atmosphere of night 1 was just unreal. You talk about 4 hours flying by. A breeze, man. At no point was I like, damn, we're going long. Or we probably were, but it didn't matter because it was. And then night 2, that was a solid 3.
I agree.
That was a solid 3 hours as well. And we've been trying to get in between that 2.5 to 3. Two and a half. I like. Bigger events. Always. And Homecoming. That's going to be a bigger event. And then Homecoming. I said I was only going to plug the 3 shows, but Homecoming in LA on Saturday, September 20th. That day is especially marked on my calendar. I'll just leave it at that. But that's going to be another long, big event as well, I think, as it always is when we go to LA. I love going to LA. But this time, it's marked with a star on my calendar.
Hell yeah.
I got something I need to do in LA.
Okay. Mose, before we lose you, have you booked any upcoming KWK shows?
No, the venue we used in Indianapolis shut down.
I saw that. I didn't know
No, so yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, I'm honestly, we're looking at venues here and there, but just because of my schedule, like, I know I've got 2300 coming up, and then I'm definitely going to Alaska with GCW in October.
Hell yeah.
So I've just got like the next kind of like 6 weeks are just so much travel, and then with my other wrestling stuff not as crazy, I'm able to like stay an extra couple of days in Alaska. I think I got to be back for TWE the next Saturday, so it's one of those. And then like so yeah, we're honestly just like having a little more fun, just kind of being on the road right now. I know we've talked about maybe trying to do one in Chattanooga at the end of the year. But TWE Arena, like so many promotions use it. I know it's kind of like not been as crazy the last couple months, but I would like to go back there at the end of the year and do like a sold out one more time. I forget how many years ago was our first show, whatever it was, 3 or 4, but it's got to be some anniversary in December for that. So I'd love to do that if we could squeeze it in for sure.
Do another no ring in there?
Yeah, I think I'd like to do that. I know that a lot of people still talk about that show. Like Mosca and Sean is still one that like we still get a couple dollars a month from just that show, which is crazy as long ago as it is. But yeah, like I'd love to bring that back and bring some faces back if we can from it, because like like Hoodfoot was on that show, and there's a couple other guys that I know we have on KOBK shows a lot, but we've been in Indy. I mean, I haven't ran a show in Tennessee in like a year and a half. I've been in the Indianapolis company because of the deal we were getting. So I'd love to get back to Nashville for sure. Nashville or chat.
Hell yeah. Good deal. Well, thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it. Mose, we always appreciate you, man. Thanks for always taking so much time to join us, man. We can't thank you enough. And Emil, thank you for finally joining the show live. And you've been the voices of our intro for like 3 or 4 years now. So I'm glad you found the man himself that we always attribute to having the largest dick at the beginning of the show for our intro. I'm losing my voice as I'm talking about that.
Talk about that dick losing his voice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's not a good combo there, Jensen.
Yeah, I got overwhelmed there. Things,
It is a consequence. It is a consequence.
All right, guys, get the fuck out of here. This is Emil Jay and Mose. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for having me and Mose, and we gotta do this again sometime soon. Now that the proverbial cherry has been obliterated.
Bro, you are just like Mose. The two of you guys are both welcome anytime, like for real. And we talk a lot of indie wrestling on here, as you can tell. So like right up your alley. So whenever you want to stop in, just let us know. Every Thursday night we're hanging out. So
yeah. I think let's see. I'm trying to think. Maybe like with as much stuff I got going on, traveling stuff, if I can do like maybe catch up every other month or so, maybe.
Yeah, man. Just DM me. Just let me know when you're free. And Mose is on here like once a month too, anyways. Like so.
Boom.
And whenever Cole Radrick's back from injury, Cole Radrick joins us pretty often. Also, he's been laying low, getting healthy. But yeah, man, we'd love to have you guys. I was already part of the rotation, but the more you can join us, the better. We appreciate you, Emil. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you. Much appreciated.
You guys have a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, be safe.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna have to boot everybody here.
I always feel so bad, like having to like kick people out of the thing. Oh man, that was awesome.
All right, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. We won't deep dive too much on too much stuff. But that was.
I mean,
worth
predictions.
it.
Predictions we can get by very quickly. So
yes,
I don't think there's too much to go with predictions.
Before we even get into that, though, I mean, like non-wrestling, I just gotta,
I was gonna save it till the end.
Oh, okay. Let's leave it to the end.
I was gonna. Of course, I'm gonna bring it up. I was gonna bring it up at the end. All right.
Over 1 million fans and a great number in the demo tuned in. It was a great show, and I think it's been a run of great shows.
AEW New Japan Forbidden Door this past weekend. Jensen, what stood out to you on this card?
I'm gonna have to pull the card up now just because I had all the other GCW stuff pulled up, but obviously off the top of my head, the Hangman Page MJF match. I like that a lot. Do you think that like the ending with Mark Briscoe, like, do you think there was supposed to be more to that, like, than what? Because like there was like that weird kind of part towards the end where his foot was on the rope and like the ref was out and like all that. I feel like Mark Briscoe is maybe supposed to be the one to like be a part of like breaking that up or something. I don't know. It felt like something was off about part of that. But outside of that, I thought it was a pretty solid match, and we both expected Hangman to win, but they're obviously leaving the forbidden door open for MJF to still cash in, even though they've now made that caveat of like you have to. Well, how do you feel about that, by the way? About like now MJF has to say a week in advance that he's going to cash in.
I wish they would have established that beforehand instead of now. It felt like just a lot of course correcting to basically what had happened in the lead up, because him getting out of the contract execution felt like course correcting because he agreed to do the match and he agreed to execute the contract, but he never signed the contract. So then they did I'm going to set Mark Briscoe on fire unless I don't have to execute my contract. And Hangman agreed to that. So then he didn't have to execute his contract. And then it became, okay, well, you can execute it, but you got to give a week's notice. The whole thing just felt like a bunch of course correction because it was always weird from the start of why are you doing both of these matches at Forbidden Door, especially when one guy is MJF. This is not in his character to just execute the contract and give a heads up notice on it. And agreeing to do so doesn't mean like you like cash it in or you execute the contract. Like we've only had one example of this in AEW history. It was Christian. And Christian, they did the tease a couple of times and then they finally did it. But we saw like he had to sign it. Athena signed the contract. MJF just said I would do it and never signed it. So they could have easily gotten out of that without the whole burning Mark Briscoe thing. Like, I don't mind the 1 week promotion thing as long as that's what it is, if that's what they're going to stick with. But for right here, for this exact moment, it just felt like they were trying to course correct, and that's why they did it. And I don't fully love that they're doing it with MJF, but I thought his promo on Dynamite was really good to kind of like showing the anger and the fire of like, nah, this is kind of bullshit that now I got to give a week's notice on this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're in MJF's shoes, it is bullshit because that was not established when you won it. So, or before you lost to Hangman. You know what I mean? Like you just, well, I shouldn't say, like you pretty much just described that, but that's, I understand what you're saying too, with like it being weirder that it's this stipulation was just now created and it's MJF of all people that it was created like while he has it because he's like the perfect character to do a cash in out of nowhere. So, as far as like, I'm just trying to, I guess, thinking ahead because I just have the feeling like obviously MJF's going to cash this thing at some point, but like, do you think they're going to do this like almost right away at like all out, or do you think that they're going to wait longer for MJF? Like, do you think that the Hurt Syndicate is still at all involved in this, or has that just actually just been completely cut separate? And
I think the Hurt Syndicate stuff's done. They're feuding with Ricochet and Gates of Agony now. Like, I think that's just kind of completely done. It seems like they're going to do MJF and Mark Briscoe at some point in Philly. So you get that out of the way. I mean, Mark Briscoe should probably win that. And then what's next for MJF after that? I don't think, even though it's a contract execution, he has the title shot. Giving him the title shot off of 2 straight losses, at least 2 straight potential big match losses, doesn't make a ton of sense and doesn't inspire a lot for All Out. I think All Out, based on what we saw last night, could be something like Kenny and Hangman against the Bucks or Kenny and Hangman against Takeshita and Okada.
Yeah.
I do wonder, so, you know, you kind of remove the advantage of the cash in if it's not an immediate, if you have to do it on a week's notice. I do wonder if there is a way, let's say they announce Kenny and Hangman against Takeshi and Okada for All Out. Let's say they announce that this Wednesday, right? What if a week from All Out, Hangman is like, I want my title shot at All Out. And then you're forcing Hangman to wrestle twice in that scenario, because I don't think you're pulling Hangman out of the tag team match. Certainly it's not in Hangman's character to be like, oh, I'm not going to do this tag team match. I got to focus on my world title match. Tony Khan would, as the promoter, be like, well, yeah, we would love to have Hangman wrestle twice. If he wants to do it, I'm not going to stop him. He's our champion. I wonder if there's a scenario where, and I'm not saying they even have to do it for All Out. This is a contract that could be used at some point next year as well. But I wonder if that's a sneaky way to kind of still have an advantage with the week's notice.
Yeah, I like that scenario. Didn't they have, who was it? It was either Adam Cole or MJF. It had to have been during their whole run where
MJF wrestled. Yeah, he wrestled twice because that was the Jay White match, and everybody was like, "Oh, that match."
Yes,
sucked. Yeah.
that was it, because it was like he went in injured and still beat Jay White like straight up.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
he beat, I think, the Righteous and defended the tag team titles, and then and then got injured more, and then beat Jay White in a one-on-one match. So
and people thought it was a bad look for Jay White to because he was still pretty new in AEW at the point. Yeah, well, no, I agree it wasn't a good look, but I guess the reason I bring that up is because I wouldn't want that happening again, really. But I also, it depends on when it happens. Like, I really don't want to see Hangman lose the title really anytime soon, honestly, and I don't want to see him lose it at All Out. So if this all happens, I'd hope it would happen, sometime next year. I guess I'm just interested to see where that kind of goes, because like you said, MJF and Mark Briscoe have to have a big match, obviously, with all that's happened with them and threatening to speaking of people, you're talking about people getting lit on fire. Logically, which we don't have to actually go by logic for pro wrestling, but you are right. I think that Mark Briscoe should win the feud based on everything that's happened. But I also don't think it's good for MJF to not only be taking not many, I don't like the idea of MJF taking many losses to begin with, just because of his character and how valuable I think he is and everything. But it's even worse when, like you said, we've seen it for years with the Money in the Bank briefcase, where someone wins the briefcase, they lose a bunch of matches, and then they wind up cashing in. It's like, okay, it's kind of lame though, because we saw this person lose a whole bunch and now they're the champion. I don't want to see that happen to MJF, and that's nothing against Mark Briscoe, obviously. It's just, I'd be saying that against pretty much anybody against MJF, except for Hangman at this point, because I don't want Hangman to lose the title. So, I think they have a good thing going with those guys, though. I just hope they because another thing that's interesting about this is that the two main people that I expected to have feuds with Hangman for this title at some point in the near future, over the next handful of months to the next year or whatever, was going to be Swerve and Ospreay, and both of them are sidelined with injury. So that could also have totally thrown off TK's plans or whatever. He might have had that, I'd imagine Hangman's world title reign is going to look a bit different than what they initially planned, because you'd have to imagine they were planning to do Hangman versus Swerve, Hangman versus Ospreay, which I think we could still obviously get those matches, just a matter of when those guys come back. Ospreay is going to have his big moment at All In next year. Like, that's pretty much guaranteed. Swerve, how long is Swerve going to be out? Do you know?
I don't know. It was a, meniscus surgery that could vary. I think, I'm not a doctor.
I'm going to guess like 4 to 6 months is my guess for a meniscus.
Yeah.
Unless it was like something more serious, but I don't think meniscus are that bad anymore.
It says 6 weeks to 3 months is a typical meniscus surgery.
Oh, wow. That's way shorter than I expected. I guess usually when and I shouldn't say usually, but a lot of the time it's like meniscus plus an ACL or something or other. Like, it's not just the meniscus. Well, that's good to know that he might only be out for like a couple months. So that's actually great. So let's say he comes back. Worst case scenario, it takes like 2-3 months or whatever. That's the difference of like just missing basically one major AEW pay-per-view, 1 or 2 major AEW pay-per-views. Like by the second pay-per-view or whatever that he would have missed, he can be back in the mix and potentially even be going for the championship if the time is right. So that I'm not as concerned about. And then like I said, we know Ospreay's time is coming when he's back. So it's just a matter of like what makes the most sense for Hangman. You have the thing with MJF, but you can come back to that whenever. Is there anyone else right now in AEW that comes to mind for you that like you think makes sense? Like, if it isn't going to be MJF for All Out, who do you think it is?
For the world title?
Yeah, against Hangman.
I don't think they're doing a world title match.
Oh, you think you're going to do the tag team match? Okay, yeah. Actually, okay, I see. I forgot you mentioned that already. Yeah. You would think that they'd have a world title match at All Out, though, But
I mean, you would think, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. The big selling point on that show is going to be Cope and Christian, their tag team match in Toronto. Hangman and Kenny, the reunion last night, I thought was great.
Yeah,
and that's a big selling point too, especially like if you're facing Okada Takeshita or you're facing the Bucks, that's a big match. And I think Darby and Moxley is kind of your big one-on-one match on that show. I think those 3 at the top is strong enough to where obviously you're going to get a Toni Storm match. I'm not sure who yet for Toni Storm, but she'll be on the show. You'll probably get a Mercedes match, probably Mercedes and Windsor. It looks like they're setting that up. So it'll be a good lineup. All things here. I don't have a great challenger for Hangman because right now it looks like, I shouldn't say I don't have a great challenge for Hangman. I'll explain of why I said that. Right now, he's feuding with the Don Callis family. That was evident after last night's. Don Callis family has 2 tiers of members. They got the tier you shouldn't be beating, and then the tier that everyone knows you're going to beat.
AKA NWOB team.
So it makes it difficult to set up a credible challenger because Okada shouldn't be losing. Fletcher shouldn't be losing. One, they're both champions in the company, so you don't really want to beat your champions in these scenarios. And then Takeshita, you shouldn't want to beat him right now.
I'd be okay with him being in the world title match, so like, because that's still, even if he doesn't win the title, that's still, I wouldn't mind him losing if it's to Hangman. Like, but pretty much anyone else would.
Right, but then he's going to go on like 3 weeks later and probably win the IWGP World title. So I just don't love the idea.
Right, because they'll have Wrestle Kingdom after that.
I don't love the idea of beating Takeshita in that spot. I love that match, but I wouldn't be quick to beat Takeshita there. And then you have your other tier of like Archer, Alexander, now Wardlow, Romero, Hechicero. Like, none of those guys are real credible to Hangman. Wardlow's the only person you could probably talk yourself into of like, hey, this is a pay-per-view match, but that's pushing it. That's really pushing it. Like, that's not a headlining match, Hangman and Wardlow. That doesn't scream pay-per-view main event to me.
You know, it's really sad, and this is just my own personal opinion, and I'm obviously not advocating for this right now, given how he's been booked, but like, is a whole other conversation in itself, but I feel like Lance Archer is like massively underused. Like him and Hangman had like banger matches around the beginning of like when AEW started. Archer and like Archer beat Moxley for the IWGP US Championship and like that Texas Death match or whatever. Like Archer totally could be in a position where, you know, because the match with him and Hangman would be really good, but it makes no sense because he is never used to put in that situation right now. But like, yeah, just want to throw that out there too. Like, there's a lot of great wrestlers on the show, but basically what we're getting at is like, as of right now, pretty much MJF is like the only person on the roster that makes any sense to even challenge for the championship.
Yeah. As far as Archer goes, like, he's fine. It's a good TV main event, like Hangman and Archer. Like, it's fine. I think it's off of the underused part, and like that's his role at this point. He's not going to be a pay-per-view kind of star right now. They got too many other guys that are just ahead of him at this point.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. I just, but, and so outside of that, the other main thing on the show, on the pay-per-view, was of course the lights out steel cage match, which was insane. As somebody who covers a lot of deathmatch wrestling, I do see a lot of things that are really, really disgusting on a pretty regular basis. And I'd say what Mox did to Darby Allin is like I could understand if you wouldn't want to watch that. I could totally understand that. Like there's like a line of like you're being a complete psycho when you do something, both guys. And I fully believe that Jon Moxley and Darby Allin both totally get off on it. So like they were like, I don't question like anyone being reluctant to be a part of this. I think they both really, really, really wanted to do something like this. But I don't know how much of the fan base really honestly wants to see it, if I'm being completely honest. Like there's a difference between blood and seeing some barbed wire and thumbtacks and stuff like that. But like when you're putting forks through people's ears, it's like, I don't know who actually needed to see that, but they did it. Also, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, that was pretty nasty. That was pretty gnarly, but
yeah,
bless them for doing it.
But it's like something like that's gonna happen. Like, I mean, given the history of AEW with any kind of match that's any kind of gimmick similar to that, the last time we saw a fork involved, it was another one of those where like when Hangman was stabbing Mox in the head with the fork, hard way blood all over the place. So yeah, that was gross. Also, I did really love the Young Bucks coming out to Umbop. I thought that was great. And I have no proof of it, obviously, because I don't, it's for wrestling. I'm not knocking people who do that. I don't get down like that. But I was watching with my buddy Mike Hughes, who I talk about all the time. He watches a lot of Dynamite with me. Came over for the pay-per-view for Forbidden Door. When they came out and the music cut out completely, I swear I turned to him and I was like, if they actually got Umbop, that would be insane. And they actually did it, which for people who are hearing that might be like, there's no way that's possible. You could never think like this. That was their music on the indies. Like when I discovered the Young Bucks, and I remember it so well because I grew up in the 90s. I loved I was one of those kids who like listened to Hanson on the radio. You know what I mean? Had like the Hanson tapes, not even the CDs, the tapes. So like, yeah, I'm marked out for that, hearing that music. And I think that it might not even be a bad idea for that. If they can keep it licensed, I don't know how expensive it is to use it on a regular basis, but them as babyfaces, that would be a great babyface song for like when they actually do turn babyface again, because the fans can all sing with it and everything. So
Kenny Omega was vibing.
Kenny Omega was vibing. I love seeing that too. It's supposed to be like the most brutal match of all time that they're preparing for, and Kenny's like dancing, like bobbing his head, singing the song. But there's honestly not much I can really say about the match because like I can't really do justice, like me describing it. You guys, most of you who are hearing us talk about this, I'm sure, have seen the match. But my takeaways from it were basically that these guys are nuts. Ospreay went balls to the wall, even though he's like injured going into the match. That's something I'll never understand too. People who like know that surgery is around the corner, but like they still, obviously they're getting cleared. I'm not saying like that he shouldn't have been allowed to wrestle or anything like that, but I'd be so cautious. You know, it's like I already know I have to get surgery, and then like you go out and like you're doing moonsaults off the cage and stuff, and like, but yeah, Ospreay's
He was
the man.
very well caught.
Oh yeah,
that,
sure, but still, it's risky.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was also in front of his, you know, his home crowd, and like, you know, got a great reaction. How did you feel about the show closing with him getting his ass kicked?
I was fine with it because they were writing it off. I just thought the way they did it was dumb. Like I thought the baby faces looked dumb about it. You know, they couldn't get in the cage. They couldn't climb the cage. They couldn't go around to climb the cage. I don't even know why they left in the first place. Like that was the other thing, is why did they leave the ring? To give Ospreay his moment, okay, but the Death Riders were still in the cage. Like maybe you should chill and make sure they're gone before all of you leave as well. I just thought the baby faces just look kind of stupid in this, and there should have been a better way to do this.
Yeah, I obviously like the logic of like, you know, somebody in the back could have, you know, raised the cage, so you know we could have gotten in there. Also, I saw a lot of people complaining about like, it's like we just saw Marina just like scale up that thing real easy and get in there. Like Darby just climbed Everest. Like you can't get into the cage. But yeah, I mean, outside of those, I guess, kind of critiques or whatever, which are rightful. I mean, I agree, but yeah, I mean, I understand why they did it, but it's like we all already knew that Ospreay was gonna be leaving, so it's not like the attack made me feel like, oh, this is why he's gonna be off TV. Like everyone went into the match knowing he was gonna be off TV, so. I guess it didn't necessarily need any of it, but like for the sake of the Death Riders, it was probably a good thing because it keeps them, you know, it keeps their thing going, you know, that they took out Ospreay. And it looks like they could be adding Daniel Garcia, which, I mean, if the Death Riders are going to continue on as a group, which it obviously looks like they are, I think Daniel Garcia, but it is at least, Daniel Garcia needs some sort of change, in my opinion, like to, you know, something. I'm not saying something isn't clicking, but like he's like in a lull. It feels like didn't even turn on. I figured he was going to turn on Nigel or something at the show, but yeah. Do you think he's going to join the Death Riders, Daniel Garcia?
I hope so.
Yeah.
The group needs a little something extra. And Moxley, I mean, we know Danielson wanted Garcia. Like that, that's very well known that Garcia was pretty much slated to join Blackpool Combat Club. And then Jericho had other ideas. And where does Yuta fit after that? Because I don't think he's been fully elevated off this, but I don't know if he's going to get fully elevated off of the Death Riders. Pac is out right now. Don't know when he's going to be back. So I do think the group needs someone new, someone fresh. I mean, but Gabe Kidd is kind of fitting that bill a little bit. I just don't know how long Gabe Kidd's going to be there for, because he still has New Japan commitments. Oh, we'll see if they add Daniel Garcia. Garcia feels to me more like he needs to continue to fight them, because I don't think they fully explained that story. Because Garcia was one of the guys at ringside, you know, when Danielson got killed. And then he was one of the initial guys who was willing to fight. But then he faced Jack Perry and won the TNT title, and then he did TNT title stuff and just got completely away from the Death Rider stuff. So I think him fighting the Death Riders, there's still some meat there. And I really love this match against Moxley last night. So I think they can do more with Garcia fighting the Death Riders before potential pairing of them.
Yeah, and speaking of, just really quick, I'll mention that I think I said it last week too, but like Moxley, you know, it not necessarily has anything to do with him being the champion or not, but it seems like for whatever reason, like since losing the title, his matches either have gotten better or like maybe because it's not for the title, I don't care as much and I'm enjoying it more. Does that make any sense? Like, I feel like he's having really good matches right now, but like when he was the champion, I was like, we got to get this title off of him. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's facing really good people. He's facing Kevin Knight, Speedball, Daniel Garcia, like different style of people. I think Moxley as the champion, like the end of 2024 stuff wasn't great. The stuff with Cope wasn't great. I think things kind of turned a corner though with the street fight or whatever it was, no DQ against Cope. That's where things kind of turned into corner. Then he had the match with Joe, the cage match, which was fine. Then he had the match with Swerve, which was really good. And then he had the stuff with Hangman, which was obviously really good. So it's just depending on like who he's in there with a lot of times too. I don't knock Moxley as a worker. It's just, yeah, when he was the champion, he was facing guys that there wasn't a whole lot of investment into. And then the matches weren't good on top of that. Like the Cope match at Revolution did suck, but
that's fair. Yeah, we don't have to really talk about it too much more because I know we're a bit short on time. I'll just also quickly mention that I was very confused at the end of the tag team title match, like
that was hilarious
when Brodito won. Like it was like Brody did like he like monkey flipped Bandito into like a 450, but like he didn't stick the landing right, or like it didn't look right.
They've messed up that finish a few times. They don't have the timing well on that.
Yeah, I gotta stop doing that. I was surprised that they won the championships too, because I was so sure they were gonna do FTR versus Cope and Christian for the title. I mean, you don't need the titles. I know you didn't need the titles, but I just really figured that was where it was all heading. And Brodito just started teaming, and Bandito is ROH World Champion.
Yeah, but Brodito rules. Like, I'm glad they went with Brodito. I love them as a team.
I don't dislike them, but like they gotta at least get the finisher down. Like you can't be doing.
Yeah, they've been doing that. You know, when the Dynamite that I went to, when they faced the Bucks, it took them like they set that up multiple times. I don't know how much the camera shot it, but they did it twice. They went for it twice. I think the first time Bandito missed it, and the second time he hit it. But both times, like, he backed into the corner, and then he's like repositioning Brody to get him, you know, better to where he has enough space to hit the flip cleanly. And it came off fine when he did it, but the fact that like it was a repositioning thing and it was very obvious, at least to the live crowd, again, I don't know how it looked on TV. And then this one where they kind of mistimed it a little bit, and then the pinfall was just mistimed, and so I think Dax got pinned, so Cash had to like act like he couldn't make the save, even though it was a second late anyway. Yeah, the timing wasn't great on it, but you know that was supposed to be an elimination match, and then Hurt Syndicate never got eliminated. They just were outside. They got beat up by Gates of Agony, and that was that. The match was over.
Well, I didn't realize it was supposed to be elimination.
A lot of people didn't.
Yeah, because that felt like the whole reason that Hurt Syndicate was like going to lose the titles without having to actually lose.
It was very, if you knew, then you knew, and you were like, wait, what happened? What happened? And if you didn't know, then you probably didn't know until someone actually told you. Because when they did the draw, they said, when they announced it, oh, it's an elimination match. And it had elimination on the original graphic in the corner. But then they put it out on social media, and elimination was not in the graphic, but it was in the tweets. And then if you read online, like the AEW preview, there was no mention of elimination. But they said it early in the match, too, because Bryan Danielson was on commentary. He was fantastic on commentary all night. But they said it early because, you know, it starts with a brawl. And they're talking about, like, oh, yeah, they don't have to tag. It's triple threat. It's no DQ. They can just keep brawling the entire time. And then they get organized and they start doing tags, and then they're like, oh, well, you know, it's an elimination match, so that's why we have to do tag. Like, they said elimination early in the match as well, but it was very confusing for a lot of people of like, wait, is this elimination? Is this not elimination? It was originally advertised as elimination.
Gotcha. Yeah, I missed the elimination aspect of it for all the reasons you just mentioned, and that's funny now in hindsight because Hurt Syndicate did not get eliminated.
Yeah, which is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
So they botched the finish, and the rules were not even. Anyway, Brodito is the new AEW Tag Team Champions. Who are the trios still the? Oh, it's the Ops. The Ops have the trios. I forgot for a second. They just defended, didn't they, against Ricochet and Pizza Bagni.
Yeah.
Anyways, anything else before we move on that you wanted to talk about from AEW?
No, I mean those are kind of the big things on the show. I thought Tony and Athena was really good as well. I don't know who beats Tony, but her reign's been fantastic. I thought that was a strong match.
Yeah, I agree. It was all good. I liked Okada and Swerve. I liked everything. I mean, I thought Nigel and ZSJ was like good for what it needed to be. No one expected Mercedes to lose. No one expected Kyle Fletcher to lose. Although I do hope that they use Hiromu Takahashi on a more regular basis in AEW. I like him. I think he fits in well if they can like find a spot for him.
Yeah.
Cope and Christian. They're. I guess they're saving their tag team entrance for Toronto because like they didn't come out together on the show. I noticed that. I feel like they're going to come out together in Canada.
What music are they going to use?
That's a good question.
I mean, I assume it'd be Metalingus because everyone knows that song. But Christian's got a better theme song, for being honest.
And everyone, the Cope sing along to his music works way better, with the large crowds than it does the small crowds. So it worked out really well for this pay-per-view. So ate a little bit of crow on that one. I told them they need to stop doing that before it gets cringy, but good.
I think they're smart. I think they're smart on where they're using it. So,
yeah. Okay.
All right. Let's go to WWE Spotlight.
I need to finish the story. In the WWE, the story never finishes.
WWE Clash in Paris this Sunday afternoon. I assume the headlining match is John Cena against Logan Paul, a match that you've been excited for about 2 years now, at least, Jensen. I know you can't contain your excitement for Sunday when John Cena faces Logan Paul.
Well, I mean, it's a match that we knew we needed to get before John Cena hangs up the boots at the end of the year. It just makes too much sense. They teamed together. Logan, I noticed who was the interview with? He did Impulsive with, I can't remember who the guest was off the top of my head. It was pretty recent.
He had Drew on recently. He had Tyrese Halliburton on. That was the latest episode. Tiffany Stratton was on. These are all the wrestling guests. If it wasn't a wrestling
It was
guest,
non-wrestling, I think.
Okay, then I have no idea.
Who was it? It doesn't matter. They brought up John Cena. I wish I could remember his interview. I actually watched quite a bit of Impulsive. That's why I can't remember who it was. Because it could be anyone from like an artist to like a streamer. I just can't remember who it was that he was talking to. But anyway, they brought up John Cena and like he was like kind of this was before the feud was like really happening. And Logan was kind of like, I didn't realize how in character he was being, I guess is what I'm getting at. He was on Impulsive. He was talking about John Cena and a lot of the stuff that he said on Impulsive, he's been using like in his WWE promos leading up to this match as like ammunition against John Cena. I think the match is going to be really good. Like Logan, people can say whatever they want to about Logan. Like you can talk about the Forest from years ago. You can talk about the crypto scams and Dink Doink and Crypto Zoo and all this other stuff. There's a lot of reasons to just like Logan Paul. I've talked about him 1,000 times. But you can't knock that he's a fantastic athlete. He's taken to the wrestling business faster than like anyone we've ever seen. Obviously, there's some outliers like Kurt Angle and stuff you can bring up. But like Logan Paul kills it out there. And you know he's going to be wanting to have the best match he possibly can with John Cena, who obviously he looked up to before he even got into wrestling, because he's obviously of the generation where growing up, John Cena was the biggest wrestler of his era growing up. Similar to how we would have had Hogan or Steve Austin or whatever, like he had John Cena. And they've obviously been thinking about having this match for a long time. They've teased it once, they've got some history with one another in the short time Logan's been in the WWE, in the short time Cena's, been around. So yeah, I expect this match to be really good. Obviously I'm taking John Cena to win. That's my prediction is Cena gets the W, but I just think it's really cool that it's something that we're going to get, and it's obviously going to do a lot of big numbers on social media, especially the night of. A lot of people will be, there's going to be a lot of clips of Logan, jumping from the top turnbuckle through the announce table or something, or he'll do something that will go viral. And him and Cena, obviously Cena's the most famous wrestler involved in the company outside of The Rock, if you want to count him. So this is smart to do. People are going to be interested. I think the match is going to pay off, and I think Cena's going to win.
I think Cena's going to win. I think it will be a good match. Logan has good matches. They're well put together. Babyface John Cena, very easy formula. I think it'll be a very good match. Honestly, the crowd will be into it, so I don't really have a huge issue with it, honestly. Except Logan's got to throw a better punch because his punch looks like shit.
Yeah. Oh, you know who it was? It was an interview with Ariel Helwani. That's who he was talking to.
Okay.
Who obviously knows a lot about what he's talking about when it comes to wrestling, of course. So,
Nice.
Yeah. Anyways,
World Heavyweight title: Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Jey Uso, LA Knight. Any chance Seth Rollins loses?
no. And I think LA Knight's the one who eats the pinfall. I don't know how much you want me to elaborate on that. I mean, I don't think Seth's losing this fast. Losing the title this fast. I think LA Knight's the most expendable as far as depending on how you look at it, right? CM Punk's a made man. He's already CM Punk. He's bulletproof, but I doubt in a match with 4 people, he's the one taking the loss. Jey Uso, you don't want to see lose too often. He's already probably lost a little more often than people would like to see, considering how over he is and, recently being the champion and everything. And a lot of people want to see LA Knight break through that glass ceiling and get an actual legitimate main event run and everything. But given the list I'm looking at here, I just think logically speaking, and LA Knight also has the pinfall over Seth, which caused the whole fake knee injury thing. Seth can there goes full circle. Seth beats LA Knight on this night. So I'm going to go with that.
It wouldn't shock me. I figured it would be LA Knight or Jay, and I kind of came around on it being LA Knight on Monday and not Jay. So we'll see. Sheamus, Rusev, good old fashioned Donnybrook match. Should be fun. I think Sheamus is just gonna win.
Yeah, I hope Sheamus wins. That's my prediction. I'm not a Rusev hater. I like Sheamus better of the two, and I don't hate Rusev because of him. I just have never been a big fan of his. I just don't his style doesn't do much for me. I just have never thought he was even in AEW, as Miro, the initial run was very interesting, but then after that, it felt like the same old Rusev, and now I feel like I'm just seeing the same old Rusev again as Rusev. And Sheamus, I guess it just, straight up, I'm a bigger fan of Sheamus than I am Rusev. I think he's more interesting to watch. I think his moveset is cooler. And this is a Donnybrook match, whatever. These guys are going to beat each other up with a whole bunch of stuff. To my knowledge, I've missed a lot of it, but these guys have wrestled each other a few times, right? Where I think they're 1-1, but there's also been DQs and count outs and
there's only been one. They're 1-1, and then there's one that ended in a double count out.
Okay, so 1-1 and a double count out. So this still is a rubber match. The winner of this wins the series. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sheamus, but that's just based on personally liking Sheamus as a wrestler better.
Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed.
I mean, you got to go with Roman, but I love the Bronson Reed Shoe-a-Falla thing with collecting the shoes off of Roman's feet. I think that's a genius gimmick. I love that. I hope he does that to more people in upcoming feuds, but it's going to be tough because Roman has probably the best kicks of everyone on the entire show. So he'd be kind of downgrading going after other people's shoes probably. But this to me seems like a stepping stone to eventually get to Roman versus Braun Breaker and then maybe even Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, depending on how much they want to push Braun Breaker kind of coming out of all of that. I'd imagine like maybe even like WrestleMania next year. I don't know how long they're going to slow play this, but like I think at some point, obviously, we're going to get Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins one-on-one again. And it would make a lot of sense storyline wise for Roman to beat Bronson Reed, then beat Braun Breaker, then, you know, get that match with Seth Rollins. So, you know, I can't pick against Roman Reigns, but I do think this match is going to be really good. And I really like what I've seen out of Bronson Reed in the WWE and outside of the WWE when he was in TNA and New Japan and stuff. Like, the dude's very talented. He's just not going to beat Roman.
And then Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella.
Becky Lynch. There's no reason for Nikki Bella to win the championship.
I think Becky will continue with the title. I think it's like a fine card. I know a lot of people are kind of down on it, but I think overall the crowd will be into it. The work will be like okay. There's no match that I'm like, oh, this is going to be a real standout match. I think Roman and Bronson will be really good because both guys just work smart. And again, the crowd's gonna make up for a lot on the actual like work rate. They're gonna work WWE style matches, and depending on how that works for you, you might like it, or you might be like, this sucks compared to AEW style matches. But I'm not down on this card as a lot of people are, honestly.
No, I'll enjoy it, and this is also the last one on Peacock, I think, in the US, right? So.
Yeah.
RIP to how it's been going. Let's see how it goes after this. It starts with what, WrestlePalooza is the first ESPN one. So,
all right.
Our product is what it is. We're going straight up the middle.
ROH Death Before Dishonor. That is on Friday, tomorrow evening from the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. We have Lee Moriarty against Exula.
I have no idea how to say that, dude. I can't pronounce that. Masked wrestler that I can't pronounce.
Zelhua. I apologize to Luis.
Zelhua.
Pure Rules title match, though.
You did all that for no reason. Lee Moriarty. I've always liked Lee, by the way. I was a big advocate of his, you know, like pre AEW, covering a lot of his stuff, mainly off like the IWTV platform. Like, at least this still is the best is yet to come still, I think, for Lee Moriarty. Like he is doing great stuff with the, you know, being the Pure Rules champion. Like, it's good for him. But I also selfishly don't like that he's like tucked away in Ring of Honor as often as he is. I'd like to see him in AEW more often personally, but that's just me. I think Lee Moriarty retains.
Paul Walter Hauser against QT Marshall.
I think Paul Walter Hauser will wind up winning. I like this match though. Like, for people who don't know or might think it's like really random, Paul Walter Hauser has a lot of these types of matches, like no DQ type matches.
It's a fight without honor. Yeah, exactly. And I think that he, he knows what he's doing. I give him a lot of credit. He can have entertaining matches, puts together entertaining spots. QT Marshall is, obviously a great brain for wrestling. And they'll put together, I mean, look at what he's done with Big Boom and that kind of stuff. Like, if he can make that work, it's going to be really easy to make it work with Paul Walter Hauser, considering how much, he has more experience than people probably realize with like MLW and indie shows and stuff like that. Like, he's actually involved like on a regular basis at this point, pretty much. So, I'd imagine Hauser's going to win. But I think this will be better than what people probably expected if you've never seen Hauser, especially. Sons of Texas, Marshall, Ross Van Erich, and Sammy Guevara defending the ROH six-man tag team titles against Shane Taylor, Carly Bravo, and Sean Dean.
I'd like to see Shane Taylor Promotions win those titles. I've always liked. I think Shane Taylor he's been around for a long time now, but I remember when he came into Ring of Honor, like, I feel like people didn't have very high expectations for him. Like, he was in a tag team like early on with Keith Lee, and it was kind of like the lesser known guy between the two. And like Harley and Sean, I think, have been doing awesome work. Like, I used to see them on the indies a lot more. Obviously, they're in AEW now in Ring of Honor, but like yeah, I think that those guys are all three of them. I think are like super talented in their own ways. And the Sons of Texas, nothing against them. I just would like to see Shane Taylor Promotions, get the championships.
I feel like they're just gonna keep the titles on Guevara and Von Erichs just until Dustin gets back, which might be a little while. But I'd like to see Shane Taylor Promotions win. I just don't know what's gonna happen. Sammy Guevara is also defending the tag team titles again with a mystery partner against the Outrunners. I think this is the one where if Sammy's gonna lose, it might be this one. But who do you think the mystery partner is?
I really have no idea. Because you can pick from like the Indies or the humongous AEW roster. So like, I'm trying to think who does he have history? Does he have a history with anybody that is like
Chris Jericho?
No.
Why not?
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if that was Jericho's big return.
Yeah.
I saw Tony Khan's quote about that too, about like hopefully having him back, but like if he doesn't, he's kind of like goated either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's. I'm sure someone will have. No one's really coming to mind because if you were to ask me without even knowing he was Dustin's partner, like even that would be that even seems random on paper. So.
I'm not sure who. I was trying to think of like an ROH name from the past that wrestled a lot in Philadelphia who might make sense. There's also a possibility of an ECW name. I don't know, like, is Little Guido busy? Like,
that'd be random.
I don't think it's gonna be maybe it's someone like a big surprise, but my expectations are rather low for Sammy Guevara's partner. Honestly. Yeah, they're rather low.
I'll think about that more, and
we'll I think the Outrunners are gonna win, though.
Yeah, me too. So it probably isn't gonna be someone that cool if they're just gonna. I don't know. I don't want to knock whoever it is before you even know who it is. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Outrunners also.
Athena against Mina Shirakawa for the women's title.
I mean, I got to keep going with Athena. Like, I'm not gonna. I probably won't ever choose against her until it gets back to her and Billy at some point, maybe. Mina, like, it feels like she has as good a shot as anybody, though, outside of Billy Starks. But, I just have to assume eventually Billy Starks is going to be the one to beat Athena because of how long she's been her minion and everything. So, like, but, yeah. Do you think that there's any chance of Athena losing here?
Nah, I think Athena wins and continues her reign, as she should, honestly. And then Bandito against Hechicero for the ROH World title.
I gotta assume Bandito is winning this one. I think this would be a good match, but Hechicero, as you mentioned, is Don Callis' B team, and they probably could have come up with a more exciting. This is my own personal opinion. And once again, I don't dislike Hechicero. It's just this is a Ring of Honor pay-per-view that's going to cost like $40 or whatever, $40.
I don't think so. I think they're all just on Honor Club for the $10 subscription fee now.
Oh, are they? I thought they still did actual pay-per-view.
I mean, I'll double check, but I feel like the last few have been just if you have Honor Club, it's part of your subscription.
I think I've been fleecing myself because I don't have Honor Club, and I've been getting them off of what was it? Was it BR still that I was doing that through? Bleacher Report.
Yeah, it says
or
watch
Triller.
Death Before watch Death Before Dishonor exclusively on Honor Club. So I'm pretty sure it's part of your Honor Club subscription.
Okay, well, that makes it a little less crucial to have like a bigger. I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking like this is Ring of Honor. I feel like this is a paper. I mean, it is a pay-per-view event, Death Before Dishonor, a historic, show that they've been running for forever. Just feel like there could have been a bigger main event. I just don't think anyone expects Hechicero to win. So
can fully confirm it's part of your subscription.
Okay.
So it's $10 essentially.
That's totally worth it. That's totally worth. I'm not endorsing sponsor to tell you to sign up, but I think for $10 that is very, very reasonable.
And so that is Death Before Dishonor. Everybody, I'll be watching. I'll be covering it, I'm sure. All right, Jensen. The final news of the evening. You willed it into existence over the past couple of weeks, and it happened. Adam Thielen is returning to Minnesota. I know you're very excited about this.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this, Jeremy. A little bittersweet now after I'm sure you saw the trade the Packers just
Michael
made
Parsons,
today.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of a punch to the gut that the Packers just got Michael Parsons for a steal. I mean, I know it was 2 first-round picks and a defensive tackle, but
Michael Parsons is the best lineman and the best edge rusher in football. So
and I think any team would have given away 2 first-round picks because that's it's like you can roll the dice on 2 people out of college who might pan out or get the best defensive player of the last decade. It's like, oh yeah, we'll just take the safe bet and take the best defensive player.
Right. It's not like he's old either.
No. He just had a falling out. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 26. He's entering his prime.
Yeah. Which is, I think his deal was like $188 million. I think I saw. Anyway, that's a whole other topic in itself. It ties in a little bit because it's within the NFC North. And now we're going to have to deal with that guy twice a year, and maybe even more in the playoffs potentially. But that said, Adam Thielen, I was very happy to see it. When we traded away Harrison Phillips for draft picks, I knew something was up. I knew that was going to be the trade before the trade. I knew we were stacking up draft picks to make some sort of move. Everyone knew that Jordan Addison's out for the first 3 games with a suspension, and that that Jalen Naylor, our number 3 receiver, has a hand injury. So we needed a receiver who could come in, start week 1, know the playbook, be reliable, and be somebody who, at the very least, could take attention away from Justin Jefferson. Because a lot of these teams are going to try to double team Justin Jefferson. When they do that, they're going to leave open Adam Thielen and TJ Hawkinson. And then when that becomes a problem, they have to start single covering JJ, and then you're completely screwed having to try to single cover Justin Jefferson. So they're in a great position. Oh, and by the way, we have 2 really good running backs, in Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones. So hopefully it's all, in a stacked offensive line, with the one key piece being JJ McCarthy being the quarterback who has not started for real yet in the NFL. But if he can even just be average, we got a real shot at being special. And with Thielen coming back, it was just the stars aligned perfectly. We had the draft capital. We also traded Mekhi Blackman for draft picks. We may have also traded away someone else. We made 2 or 3 moves since we had talked last week, where we got draft capital ready. And we also, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, our general manager, he's been cooking. This guy's awesome. He's not great at drafting, but he's really, really good with these type of moves. And we have $30 million still of cap available, and 11 draft picks still, even after the Thielen trade. So we're still, I think, are going to make a move, a cornerback, or there's other things probably still going to happen. And Thielen was just the perfect scenario. He's from Minnesota. He played his first 9 years for the Vikings. Everyone knows the story. He had to pay to try out for the Vikings. Went to Mankato State University, worked his way from the practice squad to special teams to a starter to an all-pro wide receiver, and had 2 really solid years in Carolina. And he said nothing but respectable things about the Panthers. He said nothing but great things about Bryce Young, and he credits Bryce Young. He even said, if it wasn't for Bryce, this probably isn't even possible for me to come back to Minnesota, because I only have value still because Bryce threw me the ball. So people know I'm still capable, so it gives me a lot of respect for, the Panthers organization, also how Thielen's talked about them and Bryce Young and stuff. It sounds like it was just the best scenario for everybody. You guys, as the Panthers, get more draft picks to keep beefing up your young roster over the next couple of years, keep getting young players to keep stacking up and build for the future. Vikings are on win now mode, and we needed a wide receiver, and Adam Thielen is my favorite player of all time. So I loved being able to go into the closet, find my Adam Thielen jersey that I haven't worn in 2 years, throw it on, and Skol Vikings. I'm incredibly excited. And in week 4, when week 4 rolls around, everybody, It's going to be stacked O-line, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, CJ Ham if he's back from injury as our fullback, JJ McCarthy under center. Time to win a Super Bowl, Minnesota Vikings. Let's do it.
I wish y'all the best of luck. I wish Adam Thielen the best of luck. It was only 2 seasons, and it was not 2 great seasons through no default of his own. Like the first year was a disaster. It didn't matter who we had as the coach. Last year was a lot better with everything. But we're going young with our receiving core with Jalen Coker, TMT, and Xavier Leggett. So we will see how that receiving core does, and it's a young group, but we'll see. But Adam Thielen was very good for Bryce Young, and I'm glad that he gets to go back to where he wanted to go, and I was again most happy for you with everything.
Well, if it makes you feel any better too, you tagged me in that before I had seen the news. When I saw your message, I got a notification. It was happy for Fight Talk. And when I saw it pop up on my phone, I immediately defaulted to what happened to Cody. And then the second thought was, oh, wait a second, did Thielen get traded? And I looked at what you'd sent me, and it was a couple minutes before Schefter had put the report up. I was so yeah, I was, obviously I'm wearing the jersey right now. I'm incredibly, incredibly excited and happy to have him back. All is right. He should have never left to begin with, but it made sense when he did. He felt like he deserved more money. He was a free agent. We weren't going to pay him like Carolina did. He got good money from Carolina. He got to prove he can be a number 1 receiver when he was in Carolina, but now he was in a situation where he could have either been the number 3 receiver in Carolina or the number 3 receiver in Minnesota, basically, is what it essentially came down to. And it's dude, you can end your career at home. And it only cost the Vikings the equivalent of a late 4th round pick in the grand scheme of things when all the different picks went back and forth and stuff between the teams. It was a good deal for both of us. He probably, honestly, if you looked at a chart of actual statistics, given that he's 35 years old, he was probably worth a 6th round pick, maybe, something like that. So the Panthers still got better than what his market value is by getting a late 4th, basically. So they won out. We were in a situation where we needed him back, and we got him back. He wanted to be back, but it wasn't he wanted out of Carolina. It wasn't some sort of blow up where he trashed everybody on the way out. He was literally at the facility in an ice bath or something, practicing after practice for the Panthers when he found out that he was getting traded. He was fully committed to being a Panther next season, so it was all, my point is, I think it was done the right way from both teams, from everybody involved all the way through. And I think it's going to work out the best for everybody. The Vikings will have Thielen for his last year or two. The Panthers can keep building their future. The only downside is that for you guys is that I do think that he was very valuable to have there for Bryce Young. But you can find that veteran guidance from other players. It doesn't have to be Adam Thielen. I just think that Thielen probably helped Bryce Young a whole lot, especially after he got benched last year and stuff and had to come back from that and everything. But yeah, Skull Vikings. But I've got my eye, like I said, I've got my eye on your Panthers this year, and I do think Bryce Young's going to surprise some people, even without Thielen. I've got a lot of hope for that kid. I think he's going to be better than what people think.
I mean, he's a first overall pick. I think.
No, but I'm saying based on him getting benched last year and people being was he worth the first pick, and who's he going to throw to, and it's all young receivers and yada yada. It's he's got a lot working against him. There's been plenty of people who've been drafted in the first round or first overall that, they play a couple of seasons and their career's over because they can't carry the entire franchise on their back. I think Bryce Young actually can be that guy to do that. It's just, you guys you're in a massive rebuild to where he's just in a tough situation where you guys aren't expected to win, but he doesn't want to go out there and lose. None of the players want to go out there and lose. You know what I mean? So yeah. And he's got even more pressure because he was a first pick, so there's a lot of high expectations for him. But not everyone wants to wind up in like the Baker Mayfield type situations in like Sam Darnold and stuff. That's cool to watch, where someone, comes in with a lot of hype, totally flops, everyone thinks it's done, and then like they wind up at another team or something and they totally revitalize their career. That's cool to see. But I'm sure you'd much rather be in a position of just like being successful and not having to deal with all that, So anyway. The only other thing that I would bring up this week, and I know we've already gone long, and I won't go, but I will say I hope that Raja Jackson gets arrested and that he gets like the most, essentially like the most strict punishment you can. I mean, that's, as somebody who's watched MMA my whole life and pro wrestling my whole life, and I've known of Rampage Jackson forever. And I know of Kick streaming and streaming in general. It was the perfect storm of like none of that should have happened, and there's so much evidence against this guy for what he did. And there's other people to blame. There's a lot of people to blame for the whole situation. But I've never seen something like that before in any combat sport, in anything where someone was knocked out and just hit repeatedly like that, completely unconscious. Like there's got to be some serious repercussions for that. And the last time I saw that he was free, at least as of yesterday, but I'm seeing more and more about it getting investigated and stuff. So I guess I'll just leave it at that. That kind of shit cannot happen in any combat sport and in life in general. That kind of shit can't happen. And that was fucking nuts watching that. So hope he goes to jail for a long time over it.
Jensen, appreciate you as always. Let everybody know.
Do you agree, Jeremy? Should he go to jail for a long time?
Oh yeah,
I'm sure you guys have talked about it. Yeah. I haven't gotten to really talk about it, so yeah.
Whatever happens to him is hopefully taken care of in the right ways.
Yeah, because I'll just say, because this happened during live streaming, it happened on the Kick platform. There's a lot of delinquents and really bad role models and quote unquote influencers and stuff that live stream, whether it's on Twitch or YouTube or Kick. I think Kick is really important. I think it needs to exist because I have a lot of issues with with Twitch and the people behind the scenes at Twitch and a lot of stuff that gets pushed on Twitch. So from a personal standpoint, I really hope that there's competitors like Kick to Twitch. You can do great stuff on Kick. Mr. Beast and Aiden Ross and SQC just raised $12 million for Team Water the other day on Kick. So I want people to also know, because I've seen people you should shut down Kick, blah, blah, blah. And it's no, they need to moderate this stuff better. And there needs to be serious repercussions. But this wasn't Kick's fault. This was Raja Jackson's got some stuff going on that wouldn't have mattered where that was being streamed from. So anyway, yeah, I'll leave it all at that. Sorry, Jeremy. I know we've already gone long, but like I said, I haven't got to talk to anyone about any of this, but it's already kind of like old news. But I'm sure we'll hear more about it whenever he gets arrested or whatever.
All right, Jensen, let everybody know where they can find you.
Find me on Kick. No, just kidding. That was just a big plug for me moving to Kick. I've signed a deal with Kick, no, you guys can. Well, first off, thank you very much to Mose and Emil Jay for joining us earlier. Really enjoyed that. You can follow me on X at FightTalk_. You can use my code FightTalk. All is one word, no spaces, on independentwrestling.tv. And the Spotlight every Monday night. This week it'll probably be Monday afternoonish, maybe, because it's a holiday, so I don't have to work my shoot job. So yeah, look out for the weekend or sometime during the day on Monday, covering the world of indie wrestling. I think GCW is off for the next few weeks, so depending on kind of what's run this week or this weekend, I might have time to go back and recap the last couple DPW shows and action shows and stuff that I had to skip the last couple of weeks because, we were covering Homecoming and stuff over there. So, if you want to hear more about me talking independent pro wrestling, subscribe to FightfulSelect.com and listen to The Weekender.
Appreciate you as always, Jensen. Folks, I'll be back tomorrow in the weeds, 10 a.m. Eastern, myself and Joel Pearl. We'll be back next week. talking all everything going on in the world of wrestling. Until then, bye everybody.
Skull Vikings.